Today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited to present today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited. Hall of Famers participating. We have reached 47 states and countries all over the world, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans important life values like commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty.
But you have to make right decisions even when nobody's watching you.
Well, respect is not just given out. It's not handed out like a brochure. It's earned.
Today, you are presented with an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more important than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. They didn't roll out the bed great. They put the work in, on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, in their communities. They made themselves a Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Your feet can't take you where your mind's never been.
Because you can make it, but it's just gonna take a little hard work and some effort and the drive and determination.
And today, you will learn you can do the same thing they did. You don't have to have a gold jacket or a bronze bust to make a difference in the lives of others. It's your decision whether you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
If attitudes are contagious, is your attitude worth catching?
It's integrity as well, because when you decide to pursue something and you don't quit, that says a lot about you.
Commitment to excellence. We can all aspire to be the best.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, the heart of a Hall of Famer program, connected by Extreme Networks.
When you play for the Green Bay Packers, a lot of doors open up. When you win a Super Bowl, all doors open up. But when you make the Hall of Fame, football heaven opens up. You want to know why? Just guess. It's rare company. There's only 362 guys in the Hall of Fame. And I number 357. And then closing, the volunteers, I met all 2,000 of you, maybe 3,000 selfies. I love you, respect you. The voters, thank you. 16 years is a long time, but it's worth the wait. Thank you very much.
All right, with that, we'd like to welcome everybody here to Appleton North High School in Appleton, Wisconsin, just a short drive down the road from Green Bay, Wisconsin, where tonight, for 32 individuals, their football dreams are going to be realized as they get drafted in the round one of the NFL draft that I know the city of Green Bay is super excited to be hosting. And we here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame are also super excited to be on the grounds here for our latest installment, the last one of the school year, for our Heart of a Hall of Famer series connected by Extreme Networks, featuring Packers legend, Hall of Famer, this gentleman sitting right here beside me, Mr. LeRoy Butler. As always, my name is Jake Ray. I'm the Youth Education and Leadership Manager at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, where it's our mission to honor the greatest of the game, to preserve its history, to promote its values, and to celebrate excellence together. And those values we promote those of commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty, all of which made this gentleman right here a pretty darn good football player, but it made him a great man off the field as well. And before we dive in, I've gotten to know LeRoy over the past couple of years since he's been a Hall of Famer, and he is truly just one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. And if you didn't know he was a great football player, he'd just be the guy that lives down the street from you too. So I'm super excited today to hear how those values impacted your career, both on and off the football field. Before we get started, though, some thank yous I'd like to pass out. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all the great sponsors of this program, mainly the one you see behind us here, Extreme Networks, for being the presenting sponsor. Without their support, students not only here in Appleton, but all over the country throughout the entire school year would not have the opportunity to hear from our Hall of Famers. We want to thank them for their support and everything they do for us at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Secondly, I want to thank the teachers and administrators, not only of all those schools who are connected in today, but special shout out to the students, or excuse me, the staff here at Appleton, for allowing us to walk through their doors and host this program here today, and all the help that they have been in supporting us for this program. And then lastly, we have to thank our students. Without you guys, it's just me and my buddy LeRoy up here talking a little football, a little values, a little life. But with students here today, you get the opportunity to ask a question to a Hall of Famer. There's not many times, I know when I was in school, that never happened to me, when a Hall of Famer walks through your doors and you have the opportunity to hear from them, not only a Pro Football Hall of Famer, but specific here to the Wisconsin area, a Green Bay Packers legend as well. So students, definitely take advantage of that. We're going to have students here in Appleton ask questions, as well as students who we have connected in on Zoom today ask questions as well. So it's going to be a very fun program. I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit of life, a little bit of football, but probably a lot of the NFL draft, because it's the NFL calendar resets and starts tonight. But no matter where you're watching, now obviously we want you to keep your phones away during the program. But if you're taking pictures before or after, make sure you tag and you share them on your social media. Make sure you tag at Pro Football HOF and at Extreme Networks, and use the hashtag HOF values, and your post just by be reshared. So nobody came here to listen to me talk all day. So without further ado, let's give it up for our special guest today, Hall of Famer LeRoy Butler. Any opening things you'd like to share here?
Yes, I would. First, I want to thank Allie, your wife, for saving your life.
Amen.
Welcome to manhood. And I think for the biggest thing to why I love coming to schools, because this is where my heroes are, and the teachers. Without my teachers, there is no LeRoy Butler. There isn't. I couldn't have done anything, because there was always I had a learning disability. I had braces on my legs. I was in special education, the teacher's assistant. I couldn't play kickball because I couldn't kick the ball. So I said, well, can we just sit on the bench over there, and can you help me to read faster? Because I didn't read on that level. And Mr. Brown in 5th grade told me that if you go to the NFL, they have playbooks. I said, nah, I watched the NFL. I haven't seen a playbook. He said, no, it's like a phone book. And y'all weren't born yet, but we had phone books about this thick. And when I had anxiety, soon as he said that, I don't think I can remember that many plays. And he said, no, don't worry about it. I'll teach you the shortcuts, the cliff notes. How do you do that? So if it wasn't for my teachers, I couldn't even learn the plays to even play. So I just love and respect them more than anything. I get emotional when a guy wins an Academy Award or a Super Bowl or get in the Hall of Fame. And they don't think they're teachers, they're parents, grandparents. And maybe they forget. But in my Hall of Fame speech, I thanked 2 of my teachers. And one of them was in the kitchen cooking. And she heard her name. And her grandkid, Grandma, some dude just said your name. And she just was blown away. And that's the only way I can really honor them, by thanking them on that kind of platform. So that's pretty much, I want to say that, because, and I'll probably touch on it again throughout this, they just mean so much to me. And my mom was my hero, and my grandparents. Other than that,
All right.
show now.
All right. Well,
you dress very nice.
Thank
too.
you.
Get that Hall of Fame tie. I don't know if we don't have to zoom in on it, boys and girls, but that tie is amazing.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
Hall of Fame tie. We sell those too on our Hall of Fame store. That's for
Michelle.
yes. So we'll bar that in.
Well, LeRoy, we obviously first want to thank you for being here. Assuming you got a pretty busy schedule here these next couple of days.
We had 6 events yesterday.
That's awesome. What is it about this city that's so important, not only to to football here, but to the NFL and the football world as a whole?
I think for me, most of the young men tonight, well, probably a majority of them will get drafted to a team and go to a state that they've never been before. For me, high school, Florida State, and I want to say my condolences and to our students who had a shooting down there, and it was just so depressing at Florida State. So I just want to pray for their families. So I've never been to Wisconsin. I'm dead serious. Even in my geography class, the statute of limitations run out, I could tell this story. In my geography class, when my teacher went to the Midwest, I took a nap. I'm never going to Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, and WI. What is that? So, full disclosure, I was a Cowboy fan growing up. And my aunt and uncle are from Illinois, Aurora, Illinois. And Jake, when I got that phone call to come to Wisconsin, I didn't know what to expect. Because I remember talking to the head coach, Lindy Infante. He said, before we draft you, do you have any questions? I said, yes, sir. Where's Green Bay? And you just heard the biggest laughter because I've never been to Wisconsin. So when Mark Murphy, our president, who I think should get the Nobel Peace Prize, said we're getting the draft, I knew it was a dream. Jake, I never thought it would happen because this is the smallest market. And there's two things the NFL loves, air quotes, Super Bowl and the draft. But this is football history. Since like 1919, one of my favorite restaurants, 1923, a city team. We don't have an owner. We have shareholders. So having a draft here means something to this state, this city. People are living in Madison, Milwaukee, Appleton, Oshkosh. This is unprecedented in the finest way to be on display the next 3 or 4 days. And I'm so proud of it because based on food and just people taking care of one another, this is a state that's not a flyover state. This is a visit state. You visit and you enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, normally we save this for a little later in the program, but we got some special stuff going on at the Hall of Fame. As you know, we have a residency program where our Hall of Fame.
The first one.
He was number one, first one to ever do it. So to explain what our residency program is 30, 40 weeks out of the year. You know, we are fortunate enough to have a Hall of Famer come back to Canton, Ohio, visit some awesome places in the community, stay in the Hall of Fame, do some cool things with some visitors. So we thought, you know, what better way, to celebrate Hall of Famers than to celebrate Hall of Famers at the Hall of Fame. So we got Jack Prusser, who's the Youth Education and Leadership Coordinator at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, with one of your current team members right now. So a little surprise for you. So Jack, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Thank you, Jake. As you mentioned, I'm here in the Hall of Fame gallery, joined by another Hall of Fame safety, Steve Atwater. Obviously, Jake touched on the residency program, and what a cool opportunity. You guys both played against each other throughout your NFL career, and Steve wanted to ask you a question today, LeRoy, so I'll open it up to Steve here.
Hey, LeRoy, always great to see you, my friend. Can't wait to see you again. But I wanted to ask you, it would be such a big day for a lot of these players. What was your draft day like, and what do you remember from that big day?
Thank you, Stephen. I love you. And tell your wife I love her too. I love your wife too. It was boys and girls. Now, you see the draft, you see some of these guys with parties, all this food, and then some big mansion. I was in Jacksonville, Florida, in the projects, in a small apartment for probably 4 people, but 34 people are packed in there. And you're thinking that I just want to get drafted. But I also thought about this, Steve. The Houston Oilers said they were going to select me in the first round. When they got to their pick, no phone call. So I said, maybe it's because I have a rotary phone. They're not getting through. I mean, it's the first round. I should go in the first round. But fine. Didn't get selected. And then next thing you know, the phone rang. And it was the Green Bay Packers, and it changed my life. All we had food, Steve, was deviled eggs and water. And the water had something floating on the top of it. I don't know what it was, but that was it. No air conditioning. And think about the impact of living in extreme poverty to every girl trying to call me and say, are you single? I mean, that's a big transition. But it was awesome.
It was a blessing to have no deviled eggs, though.
That's right.
You had something.
But it changed my life. And I only played for one team. And you know how big that is.
It is. It is. Now, what were your initial thoughts when you got drafted by the Green Bay Packers? Like, this is the Green Bay Packers.
Well, the weather. Up from Florida, Steve, when I was on the plane coming up here, it was May 2nd to the press conference.
Yes.
And when I'm flying up here, the pilot says, a beautiful day in Green Bay. The wind is coming from the north. It's a beautiful 17 degrees. I left Jacksonville, it was 84. I had on shorts and a t-shirt. My girlfriend had on a skirt thing. Well, the girls know what I'm saying. And a shirt. And some guy gets up, I've never met this guy, walks up and gives me his Packer coat.
There we go.
I love these fans. And after that, I don't care about the weather or nothing. I'm staying.
There we go. There we go. That's beautiful, LeRoy. Well, good to see you, man. I will see you soon. Continue blessings. Give your lovely wife, Genesis, a hug for us, too.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Steve.
Great surprise. Thank you, Jack.
Awesome. Well, we always say, you never know what you're going to see at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That goes for our Hall of
He's
Famers,
one of my
too.
favorites. I got tears in my eyes. I love Steve.
Awesome. So we wanted to give everybody a cool insight to what we do in Canton, Ohio, show off how cool our museum is as well. So with that, we're going to take some questions here as we get started from our students here at Appleton. So if you got a question, go ahead, raise your hand, and we'll get started. Go ahead.
Can you tell me your name and your teacher's name?
Yeah, my name is Simon.
Whatever one you like.
Mr. Hayden.
Mr. Hayden? Okay, we'll give him an autograph. Go ahead.
My question is, what was your biggest struggle in the NFL?
Biggest struggle in the NFL.
The biggest struggle in the NFL was, and it goes back to my heroes, but stay with me with this one. I thought cover 2 in Florida State was the same with the pros. No. I thought cover 3 is the same thing. No. I thought that if I go to a certain area, that it'll be easy to get a guy on the ground. I wasn't tackling young men anymore. These are grown men. So my struggle was to transition to go from having a roommate. My last 2 years at Florida State, I didn't have a roommate, which was amazing, to literally going home from college with your parents to staying by yourself. You're a grown man now. The transition. That's a struggle for a lot of people. But I always go back to what my teachers said, that you are built for this. So yes, it's going to be some struggles. But at the end of the day, it's a big surprise. So that's a great question. Because when these young men, they're going to get a lot coming at you. A lot. And if you don't, it's a word I can't say, but compartmentalize it.
Yes,
that's a difficult word for me. Because I'm from the South and we talk like, real fast. But you got to put everything in your mind in compartments and just keep it going, because you see guys play and all of a sudden for 3 or 4 years and they don't want to play anymore because they haven't dealt with the struggle. I get therapy every Thursday for the last 28 years. I have 4 of them because one of them may be busy. I need somebody to talk to because Allie makes him go to bed at 8. I can't talk to him. Okay, 8:30. I advise anybody, find somebody to talk to. That'll help the struggle. It really helps me. So thank you for that question.
Awesome. Great question. We got another question here from our students in the, yeah, go ahead. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I normally get, I don't get any advice from my teammates because they told me that if I go to a restaurant and order a well-done steak, people won't judge me. So Brett said, I got the perfect restaurant. You can go in there because I like well-done steaks. I'm not an alien. So I said, sir, I want it like a hockey puck and flip it twice. They never brought my food. So I don't listen to my teammates. The best advice that I used to be very shy. I used to go to church with my mom and grandma, and I would sit right next to them. I didn't want to go down there with the kids because they would bully me for reasons, winning hand-me-downs or being poor or whatever. But I was real shy. And then I was like 8 years old, and my grandma, she sat me down, okay? And she said, listen, you have to, she didn't use the word networking, but this is what she meant. You have to talk to people. Once they know you, they're gonna love you. You can't be with me and your mom. No. Go over there with the other kids. I said, yeah, but they kind of picking on me. Laugh with them. Everybody don't have to like you. No, they don't have to like you. But she would say something to me. Every day is a vacation. I said, really, Grandma? She said, yes, because if I let people know what bothers me, they'll always do it. So in my mind, every day is a vacation. So that's the best advice she ever told me. I got to go out, network, and talk to people. And that really, really helped me, my personality, and it helped me, you know, get more friends. Because I had to look up and Google that Jacob Ray is an undercover Packer fan. Because he ain't supposed to pick when you work at the hall. So when we don't have this logo, we friends. But with the logo, oh, we're just buddies. Yeah, professional. That's how you read the room. And that's what I want you guys to do. Just network and talk to people. That's the best advice.
Awesome. Great question. I want to talk a little bit more about the Hall of Fame. Obviously, you know, you saw in the intro video there, you know, you got given your speech, you know, culminating your career. I want to talk a little bit about those things you get when you're a Hall of Famer. One being the bronze bust, which for all of those who are looking to do some stuff up here in Green Bay, go to the draft experience. You'll get to see this guy's bust on display.
Yeah. It's the best one, too.
Shipped it up here from Canton, Ohio. But you also get the Hager gold jacket and the K Jewelers ring of excellence. I want to talk about those two pieces. First one, talking about the K's ring. Obviously, it's a thing you get last, and you get to do it in your home stadium. So what was it for you to come back to Green Bay, be on that field one more time, and get that ring in front of the thousands and thousands and thousands of fans?
Thank you so much for that question, because I try to be, well, I'm one way, it's baked in the cake. So I don't have to be fake, or I'm one way. I'm dead serious. People ask my wife, is he always like this? She said, yes. I didn't know we were getting a ring because I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear watches, Super Bowl ring. I don't like a lot of attention. I'm not real flashy. So I remember going through it. Jim Porter is our president, CEO, whatever. He's the boss. I love him because he allows you to be who you are, and he works with you. And he's a magnificent young man. And his first year was my first year, 2022, getting in. And I remember, which game do you want to do to a celebration and everything, right? So I said, remember I tell you about grandma, I said, read the room. I said, I'm gonna do a Thursday night game because that's an Amazon Prime night. And got me some Amazon Prime points too, by the way. Put that to the side. But I wanted new people to see me. And I also wanted the biggest platform for my teammates. So I invited my teammates. And before I spoke, I asked the sold out crowd, can you give my teammates a round of applause? Remember, football, the ultimate team sport. Without these guys, there is no gold jacket. Without these guys, there is no ring. Without these guys, there's no LeRoy Butler. Now they were shocked, but I wasn't. And I didn't know we were getting your name put up in the stadium. Because I think that's a narcissistic way of thinking that one day my name gonna be in the stadium. That was amazing because that's the platform I need. They said, why? Because when you see my name, I want you to see Miss Brown's name. I want you to see my mom. Mentally erase my name and put your name there if you're a leader to help people who you don't know. Every year, teachers get different students they've never met, but they know their names, first and last name, birthdays, everything. And even my son, I have 6 daughters, and my son is the baby. He's my favorite, by the way. I tell all my daughters that. If you want to be my favorite, just do what I ask. Like, not date a guy with a 500 credit score. But we'll put that to the side. I say, son, that's not my name up there. It's your name. That's a legacy. So that day, I'll never forget that day because I played for one team. And that means a lot to me. It really does. And the Hall of Fame puts you in that rare company. And my number's 357. And when we were coming off the field, Kathy, with our alumni, she said, you should do one more last leap. I said, well, I don't want to run into the wall and it go viral and I fall down and it's all over TikTok. How about we get a ladder and I do the Geritol leap? So they went and found it. I was just joking. They went and found like a little step ladder, get up there, and I sit on the wall. And that was the last leap. And that's going to be in my new documentary that I'm working on now. And I love it because it's with the fans. You can see the fans with me, not just me. So
awesome. I just want you to go to show, you feel the emotion in that speech, and somebody who's reached the pinnacle of their football career at an individual level. There is nothing above being a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the sport of football. And you can hear how much it means to all of our Hall of Famers just in that little piece right there. So we obviously, we're moving through this program pretty well. We got a lot of schools connected in today, so we want to get to some questions for them. So our first school we're going to start is West Liberty. So our folks there at West Liberty, go ahead and unmute your microphone. Have a student step up to the mic and the camera, state their name and their grade, and then go ahead with their question.
What's your question? Go ask that question. Who wants to ask? Sam, show up. You can ask whatever question you want. There you go, right there.
Hi, my name is Sam Ridgway. I'm in 6th grade, and my question is, football is many times referred as the ultimate team sport. How do you think teamwork teaches about life?
What does teamwork teach us all about life?
What does teamwork?
Teamwork, yep.
Oh, that you are a team with your brother and your sisters. That's a fact. My sister babysat 4 boys, which was rough, but I was her favorite because I did everything she told me to do. But it just taught me to be just a better person on and off the field. And everybody with that last name is on your team. Everybody in your class is on your team. As a matter of fact, every time you come into the building of a school, it is just like one team, one dream. And you look out for one another. You really do. I never had a tutor. I never even heard of that until Florida State. It was just my teacher's assistant helping me. But teamwork is seeing that one of your classmates needs help but too shy to ask, but you offer your services. That's what it means to me. And because if that happens, nothing negative can penetrate it. It's impossible. But yes, our family, very, very close. Because when you're in poverty, you have to be. And when you're in school, you choose to be. But at the same time, you're in the same building. So I think that makes much better.
Awesome.
Thank you for the question.
Great question. We're going to go ahead to another one of our schools connected in today. We're going to go to Owen Scholastic. So go ahead and connect in. Go ahead and unmute your microphone. Have that student step up to the camera and go ahead with your question. So our folks there at Owen Scholastic, go ahead with your question. Waiting on them. They get unmuted here.
It's a different classroom.
All right, we got you.
Here.
Yep, go ahead with your question.
My name is Phil, and I go to Owen. My question is, what advice would you give me, someone like me who wants to pursue a career in the NFL?
Someone who wants to get into the NFL, what advice would you give them?
Great question. Because for me, there was no plan B. This was going to work. So my thing is, if you want to do something, okay, and this, it may not be football, it may be starting your business, it can be basketball, whatever it is, but let's just use football because this is a Hall of Fame event, okay? In your minds, it's going to work. You don't have time for it may not work. No, there's no daylight for that. It will work. It's up to you. If somebody says something negative, it ain't up to them. It's not. If you say to yourself, I'm starting a business about this, do it. If you want to play in the NFL, I did it when I was 7 or 8 years old with braces on my legs, staying in the projects, single family home. Matter of fact, when I see Tom Hanks, I'm going to tell him I was Forrest Gump before him. Nothing was going to get in my way. Zero. If I don't have any friends, fine. I'm going to do it by my actions. But the more people you tell, they'll hold you accountable. So if you do something, well, that's not how you should act if you want to make it. So with that question, I want this to really hit home. And you may not even know yet what you want to be. And you can always change. But if you want to play in the NFL, just said, after today, when you wake up on Friday, you have a complete reset of your life. And let's start living it. Forget about the past. There's nothing you can do with the past. Nothing. Nothing. But tomorrow when I wake up, I got a true heart. Say, you know how your phone go out and you master reset it? It fixes all the bugs and stuff. Come back, I'm a new person.
Awesome. Thank you for that question. Then we got one more school connected in here we want to get to. We're going to get connected here to, lost my page. Hold on. The Horizon Science Academy. So our students there at Horizon, go ahead and unmute your microphone. Have your students step up, state their name, the grade that they're. Go ahead with their question.
Go ahead, kiddo. What grade? I'm Kyan Stanley in 6th grade, Horizon Science Academy. Yeah. Hi, I'm Cayenne from Horizon Science Academy in the 6th grade. And my question is, what inspired you to play football?
What inspired you to play football?
Really, my disabilities inspired me to choose football because, like I was saying, it's the ultimate team sport. But watching it, because I was a huge, did I say huge?
Yeah.
Cowboys fan. See, I love y'all in Wisconsin. I didn't get booed. I said that down in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Jake, they booed me, third graders. Because they think everybody's supposed to be Packer fans. No. But when I watched those guys every Sunday after church, the more I watched, the more I was into it. And at the time, I couldn't run and jump like the other guys, but it has nothing to do with how I was thinking. I felt like sooner or later, I'm going to be able to run and jump like everybody else. But I kept working on my craft. I was a self-motivator. Because when you live in poverty, my best meal came from school. I would love to have worn uniforms every day to school. Then they wouldn't have to pick on me for wearing hand-me-down. But I said, I'm not in school for a fashion show. I'm in school to learn from the smartest people in the world. And my teachers motivated me. They used to throw like Nerf footballs because I couldn't catch. That's why they put me on defense, by the way. And my teachers, in her heels, were throwing footballs to help me catch. I said, this is what I'm going to do. Because everybody knew it. Everybody. The custodian, the lunch line lady, you could pick your food out. Our athletic director, everybody knew it. And that's why it was easy motivation for me to stay with football. Thank you for that question.
Awesome. Great question. We got any more questions from our students here in Appleton? Go ahead.
Well, I never left confident. Well, I'll say this. It happens a lot because in the pros, everybody's good. Everybody's fast. But to go off of that question a little bit, when you lose games, that's when you, if you don't get therapy, you can feel like you're a failure. But it's like two people talking to you. And that's what anxiety is. It goes to the worst thing. But in actuality, I got next week to make up for it. But for a couple of days, but a good therapist, hey man, listen, I don't mind losing. It just can't be against Dallas, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, Tampa. Do I need to name them all? Because that's how your mind thinks. So you have to deal with that first. You're not going to go undefeated. Only one team's ever done it. But you have to deal with the negative first. So when somebody come with the negative, oh, I've dealt with that. That don't bother me. I've dealt with that. I'm fine. In other words, it ain't up to somebody else. It's up to you how you deal with it and your teammates. Because yes, when the Cowboys lost games, I cried. Then all of a sudden I said, I was 13. I said, wait a minute, I wiped my tears. I'm not out there playing. But I was emotionally in my team. But it also made me understand that it's going to happen. But how you deal with it makes you a better person.
Awesome. Thanks for that question. As we're winding down the program here, I definitely want to, focus on why the NFL, the football world has ascended on Green Bay, and that's for the NFL draft. So We talked a little bit about your experiences in the draft as coming out of Florida State, but let's just want to get maybe the 10,000-foot view thoughts on what to expect when we watch this draft here in Green Bay tonight.
Oh, that's a great question, because I don't think people understand expectations of what's about to happen. The families, the wives, the girlfriends, the niece, the nephews, they're all watching. And when I went in, they didn't have social media. The impact of that is overwhelming. The impact of anything that happens once, it's a lot of anxiety to that. But the fun part about it is the platform you create and the legacy that you start. Because I can understand it's good things and bad things. Because think about somebody like Aaron Rodgers, who was projected to be the #1 overall pick, Jake, and he sits in the room watching 23 guys go before him. And the camera's like all in your face and just keep showing. That's why they had somebody like Nate say, man, get that camera out. Tell them to get that camera out. But you've agreed to be there, assuming you're going to get drafted. But when your name called, you forget about all that. It's going to be amazing too, because every young man that's going to get drafted or get a phone call when the draft's over will always be associated to Green Bay Packers, because they did it in Green Bay and at this state, Wisconsin. They used to, it was always in New York. So, but as the last, I would say 7 years, it's a big deal what city the draft was hosted that selected you. And that was, I just know that every time they talk about the draft, they mention it's in Green Bay, it's in Wisconsin. When the 10 million people watch this, okay, 9 million, they're gonna say, he was at Appleton North. This is awesome, but I thought Canton was in Canton. It is, but I thought the Hall of Famers enshrinement is in August. It is, but somebody gonna get drafted tonight and gonna be in the Hall of Fame. That's why this is brilliant. So this is history, true history.
If we could fast forward time and know who the 32 first-round picks are, and then reverse back in time so you could put all 32 of those people in one room, what is the advice you're telling them?
About life?
Football, NFL, whatever it is.
Don't make the same mistake twice. Be a normal person. I'm gonna explain that. Because sometimes my grandmother said, power is dangerous if you don't use it the right way. And I know some guys, once they go in the first round, or they act brand new with their family and their friends, and they had a big entourage with them, and their Instagram is now popping, and they just think they just forget about the people who was with them when they was a scrub. They forget about that. Don't forget about those people. Don't forget. Money and power is nothing if you can't share it with people, your friends and your loved ones. And I think that's one of the biggest things I learned too, Jake. Like when you guys saw my some of my speech, my kids, grandkids, Jim Porter has 4 daughters. They're not my daughters. I'll be babysitting for Jake and Allie one of these days. You got to treat your family and your friends like they're part of you. And it'll work out for you. A lot of players, I've talked to a few players already, and when I tell them that, they're like, you know what? I'm glad you told me that because I just feel like I've gone on to this new planet and left Earth behind. I'm like, no, stay on Earth. It's a lot more fun. So just be a normal person, be the same person you are. It's gonna be hard for some people though. It is. Because you're gonna go to a big city, big town, and you've been probably dating a young lady for the last 3 years, and next thing you know, she don't hear from you. You just ghost your friends and you don't call your parents back. And you know, a lot of those guys say, I wish I can get that time back. I said, well, you can start now. Get a reset. And that's what I'm hoping.
Some few more quick ones here to wrap up some draft talk. Can you give me one player that you've seen, researched, talked to that you're excited that's going to be picked tonight? Excited to
Shedeur
see.
Sanders.
Shedeur?
Yes. Saw him when he was little. Friends with his dad since 1987. Nobody in this room was around. Well, your AD was around. But I'm not surprised he's going to be a top pick. I just see his growth, and I get so excited because it's like my nephew that I just want his name called. And I got goosebumps and anxiety and everything because when you see somebody grow, you really, really get excited. And once you hear somebody's name called on your favorite team or something like that, it's just awesome. So I'm very, 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 very excited.
And then the last one here, obviously we're in Wisconsin, so we got to talk about the Packers.
Yes.
What are the Packers? What are you looking for them to do? What is the step they need to make?
Yes.
Tonight at pick 23.
I'll answer that 2 ways quickly. I'm going to answer it as if I were the GM, which can go bad, but play along. And what the current GM, Gutekunst, in my opinion, what he should do. Gutekunst has done an amazing job because I remember back in 2020 when we had an MVP quarterback, he said, well, yes, we have the best quarterback. But what about in 2023, 24, 25? I want to be a good team. He select Jordan Love in 2020. That was amazing because the fan base was not happy because this wasn't a guy from a Power 5 school, Utah State. Strong arm, didn't play all this blah, blah, blah. Thank you. So he knows what he's doing. But I think this year they'll make history and select a receiver in the first round. Finally. Because most of the time the receivers in the second round. Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, Jalen Reed. Now, Jalen Reed is like my son because I went to the podium and drafted him. So him and Tucker Kraft, I'm going to change their last name to Butler. Don't tell them though. Now, if I were the GM, what I would do, I'm trading that pick. I'm calling Pittsburgh up and saying, I got a first round pick for you. I want George Pickens. If they hang up on me, I'm calling the Jets. I want Garrett Wilson. You can have the 23rd pick. I want an experienced up-and-coming receiver on my team to go with Jordan Love. That's what I would do. And if that don't happen, I'm trading out of that pick and pick up some more second-round picks because that's where they've been hitting.
Mm-hmm.
First round, when you go down at the bottom, in the 20s, you're going to good teams and you're not going to probably play. When you go up high, like the Bears, you play right away, man, because they don't, I mean, they're looking to build. But they were the second, for 2 years in a row, second youngest team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
A third year in a row, I'm trying to beat Philadelphia, and I want somebody on the fast track to do that.
Awesome.
So,
All right. Well, there's your draft insight from a Hall of Famer that you got here today.
yeah.
So, LeRoy, before we wrap up, I got one more question to ask you. And again, just want to thank you so much for doing this program today, taking time out of your very busy schedule this week to speak with not only all these students, but us with the Hall of Fame. We are very appreciative of all of that. So last question we have here, and it's a question we end every program with because it's a good way to send everybody, whether you're watching it now or 6 months down the road. If there's something you want these students to walk away with, if there's only one thing they can remember,
thank you for
is it something we've talked about already? Do you want to reiterate, or something we haven't touched on? But what's that one piece of advice, that one idea you want them to take away from today?
That's a platinum question, because other students are going to ask you who are not here what you got out of it. Don't go telling them the Lambeau leave. Nah, that he defined himself by what he thought of himself. It's not up to other people whether or not I succeed. It's up to me. I'm the reason. If I don't make it, it's me. I'm not blaming nobody. Nope. But when you wake up tomorrow and get that hard reset, decide. And once you decide, if you want to tell people, fine. If you don't, keep it to yourself, but execute it. And remember, it's up to you. It ain't up to nobody else. And I guarantee you, you'll make it. And you'll have fun doing it as well.
All right. With that, going to wrap up this installment, the last one for this school year of the Heart of a Hall of Famer series, connected by Extreme Networks, with Hall of Famer class of 2022 enshrinee, Mr. LeRoy Butler. Let's give him a big round of applause for being here today. From all of us here, from all of us at the Hall of Fame, all of the students here, we want to thank you so much for being a part of the program. We want to thank everybody who's tuned in this year, and we hope to see you next school year. Bye, everybody.
Bye.